Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Power of Your Mind podcast. You're listening to episode 245, How to Manifest Dreams into Reality. I'm Jim Kellner, comedy hypnotist. Victoria Gallagher, of course, the host of the show, is the #1 best-selling author of The Practical Law of Attraction, Ultimate Weight Loss Power, How to Manifest Your Soulmate, and she's also the founder of HipTalk.com and HypnoCloud apps, the premier online destination for hypnosis recordings. With over 500 recordings to choose from, HypnoCloud provides solutions for people from all walks of life, guided meditations, affirmations, and hypnotherapy to help with the law of attraction, manifestation, business success, stress, anxiety, sleep issues, and more. So be sure to download it today from the app stores. The goal of this show is to inspire you to dream big and to live your best life, as every week we discuss how to manifest affirmations, meditation, and hypnosis to help people to create the life of their dreams. So if you're ready to start manifesting your best life, join us and let us help you to tap into the power of your mind. Hello, Victoria.
Hello, Jim. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. What a great, what a great time to be doing a manifest your dream reality first part of the year.
Yes, definitely. I mean, now it's a Happy New Year for us. As you're listening to this, you're probably hearing,
Oh, right.
hearing this in March, but hey, we're in live time here today. So just kind of wanted to wish you a Happy New Year, because I probably didn't wish you guys Happy New Year.
Right.
When it was
We
like
should have done that.
November or whenever.
Exactly. Well, the good thing is too, we so many people start their New Year's resolutions and their new reality in January, when really probably the best time to do it is the second Wednesday of March, or just some random day, because there's not as much pressure around it.
Absolutely. And sometimes when you start off the new year, you start off really great with a bang. And then, like a couple weeks later, you start to kind of wear off, or, in my case, there was a little bit of a hiccup for the first 2 days of the new year. So I'm starting my new year today on the 3rd.
Fantastic.
Yes, definitely. So, it's great to see you've got a lot of wonderful things in the works with the Seattle, what is it called? The Pacific Northwest
Hypnosis Conference. Yep.
Pacific Northwest Hypnosis Conference, which is happening in June
3rd and 4th.
June
Yes.
3rd
And
and
we're
4th.
welcoming hypnotists to learn. We're also welcoming the general public who'd like to learn from hypnotists. So we've already got some people talking about stress, past life regression, healthy lifestyle, all those kind of things for the public.
That's awesome.
Like a success seminar too. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Well, that's a great project. And, we probably know about my project, Believe.
Yes.
Well, actually, this is the first time I've said it out loud
on
the podcast.
Wow. Say it again.
Believe.
Yeah.
And, I feel confident today to say it, because if this is airing in March, I feel pretty confident that 2 months from today, we will be releasing this app. So
nice. Yeah.
If we haven't already, we're pretty close.
Absolutely. Fantastic. It'll be so nice to finally get that out there.
Yes, definitely. And it'll just, continue taking the world by storm. And, as you were talking about those 500 hypnosis recordings, this app will have at least 1,000 recordings.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And
that's
scripts.
A lot of hours of recording.
Yes. You know what it is? It really is. I had somebody send me an email. They're like, this app is a ripoff.
Really?
For like $9.99 a month, you're getting access to like literally my life's work, like everything that I have spent hours and hours writing and recording my whole life.
Yeah.
So
wow, it's a ripoff. Did they elaborate, or was that it?
No, that was it. That was it. I guess they don't realize all the work and the hours and the blood, sweat, and tears and the research and the experience and everything that goes into creating these amazing programs, but
Yeah.
they're just obviously not, it's not for them.
And you know what? I mean, here's the thing: if and they're not even realizing how much really the value is in the work that they do when they choose one of those apps or one of those recordings and they listen to it and they start noticing the changes in their life. How
Well,
valuable is that?
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, every single one of these programs, I sit there and I see the person, I put energy into like the person that's actually going to be listening to it. So, I mean, while I'm writing it, while I'm, as I'm structuring the script, while I'm recording it, while I'm editing it, all of that, while I'm even writing the description, like there's this energy that just comes through me, and I'm thinking about this person and the change that they're, going to manifest in their life. For each and every one of these, it's that same intense energy and this visualization that just goes into like, I want this so bad for this person. And, and I really feel like that comes through when people listen to the program, and they hear my voice, and they hear the energy, and they feel the vibration, and it's just I just love it. I love the
Absolutely.
powerful changes that, people write to me and say that, that they have created. It's just like sometimes it's so hard not to focus on that one person
I
that
know. Really,
doesn't
it
get
is.
it.
It is because you got so many awesome reviews, and then you get one person that's doesn't like it, and you're thinking about that. They don't matter.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't. And that kind of leads us, into like this whole topic of manifestation. It's like, what are you choosing to focus on
Mm.
is what you're choosing to manifest.
Well, it might be a good time, for I know we've got folks that have been listening for years. We've also got newbies, so maybe it might be helpful to just take a minute to talk about what is manifestation.
Yeah. So, what is manifestation? It's a good question. So, the way I like to define it is that it's about taking like an idea ultimately, and creating that and bringing it into fruition. So it's the process of creating something from nothing. Now it's not like the process of creating out of thin air,
Yeah.
but it's ultimately taking the power of your thoughts, which ultimately your thoughts become your feelings,
Mhm.
and then your feelings, how you're feeling is ultimately going to create an action, and the actions that you take bring about your results. So there's not really like this mysterious mystique, thing. It's an actual like, if you think about something long enough, then you can bring that thought, that dream, that desire into reality through this process. And that's the process of manifestation.
And I think that's different than some people are used to, and maybe a lot of people have some preconceived notions about it because people will because there are other people out in the sphere of law of attraction that kind of do talk about maybe just manifesting things out of thin air,
Yeah.
but you are the practical law of attraction. So, like you said, I mean, if you think about something long enough, it's like you almost can't help but have it come into your life.
Exactly. And I do believe, and I'm starting to believe a little bit more as of late because I've been studying a little bit more on the metaphysical side of things. There is a practical side to law of attraction, which I emphasize. I feel like I emphasize the practical side more because I want people to understand how common sense it actually is.
Yeah.
That it's when people watch the movie like The Secret, I think The Secret focused and emphasized a little bit more of the metaphysical aspects and the like attracts like and the magnetism and the energy and the vibration and all of that, which I believe is part of it. It's just not all of it. And I think it's really important to emphasize that there's like a balance. And for me, I'm a little bit more skewed toward the practical, common sense, logical side. But I also admit that there is a spiritual side to it. There is an energy. There is, that is definitely a big part of it. And so I think, I like to blend the two. As a matter of fact, I even think about at some point complementing my book, Practical Law of Attraction, with Spiritual Law of Attraction, and really delve into a little bit more on the spiritual side of things.
I still think you should call that one the impractical law of attraction. Just kidding.
I love
So,
it.
so how does this work? How does manifestation work?
So ultimately, it is about what you focus on. If you think about something, the way you direct your thoughts, the way you direct your words, your actions, all of that is going to lead to your desired outcome. I also like to think about it in terms of, like, you have your reticular activating system in your brain.
Yeah.
And so the reticular activating system in your brain is designed to ultimately clear out all the unnecessary data that you don't need, because like so much, we're just being surrounded and inundated by so much data. Just like our spam, or just like our email inbox. Like, so in our inbox, we get all this spam, and we don't want to focus on the spam. So we have these spam filters, and it filters out all the spam. Well, that's the same way that your reticular activating system works. It filters out anything that is not important. Now, how does it know what's not important? It knows what's important based on what you're focused on. So when you're focused on things that you do want, you're more likely to attract the energies, attract the resources, attract the people, attract the circumstances that are more in alignment with the things that you do want. But at the same time, if you spend your time focused on the negative things, the things that you don't want, you're also that reticular activating system is saying, oh, that's what she wants. That's because, that's what she wants to see more of, because that's what you're spending time focused on. So you are training this part of your mind constantly to align your energies, your actions, the people, all of that. You're aligning with whatever it is that with what you're focused on. So you need to focus on what you want. And as you focus on what you want, you're more likely to take the necessary steps to make that, happen, to bring about, what you desire.
Yeah, and I have a couple of examples I would love to share.
Yeah.
So have you ever seen that it was an HBO show called Oz?
No.
It's like a prison type movie. It's like
Oh, okay.
a series. And
Okay.
I'd heard about it for years, and I started watching, or maybe it's Oz, yeah. And I started watching this show, and it was very intriguing. But there's a lot of violence, brutality of all kinds.
Mm.
Really, you're just kind of on the edge of your seat all the time. And I kind of was binge watching it. I watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes, like within just an evening, I think it was. And I found, like, over the next few days, I kept thinking about it. I kept thinking about it, and I would hate to go in prison and all these things like this. And I said, you know what? Is this what you want to spend your time focused on? Is
Yeah.
this the kind of garbage you want to put in your mind? These kind of negative? And I was like, no, I do not. And I said, forget it. I don't watch it anymore. I really want to, but I'm not going to put that in my mind.
Yeah. It's so true too. There's been times where I go back and forth between going on these little news spurts where
Mm,
sometimes I'm just like watching the news, and it's like
yeah.
there's like nothing, they never talk about
No,
anything good. You
no.
know? I mean, never. And that's the thing, is like when you turn on the news, it's always bad. So many people got shot. The
Right.
economy's bad. We're going into a recession. The border crisis. I mean, just on and on and on. And it's like,
Yeah.
what good does that do to focus on that stuff? All that does
Yeah.
is flood your brain with these negative impressions,
Yeah.
and then it can be very demotivating. It can it can also cause you just to skew your whole perception of what's going on in the world. Because if you're looking at that, you're really feeling like, "Oh my god, we're getting ready to go to war. We're getting ready to go into, get hit by nuclear bombs," whatever, And it's
Yeah.
like, what's the point of even doing anything?
Right.
And so if you go out and create your own reality, and you write your own script, you create your own visions, you talk to the people that support you, and you support other people. I mean, it's like, if we didn't have any news on, everything's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, the cats are fine, Steve's fine, I'm fine, my neighbors, I go outside, they're happy, they're fine. Go to the grocery store, there's plenty of stuff to buy, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't like completely necessarily have your blinders on, but you just gotta like be able to control what you're consuming, because what you're consuming is ultimately what's gonna be coming out of you. And so you gotta, you want to consume and focus on focusing and consuming, kind of the same thing. You want to focus on, what you want to see in the world.
Yeah, and I kind of got to a place that I do the same thing with the news, and I was like, unless I can do something to change it, there's no, I don't need to know. Just I'll hear about it. I'll see if it's important, and otherwise, I don't need it. But I'll tell you, Victoria, I almost called you. I almost called or sent you a message and said, Victoria, I've been watching this prison show. If I focus on this thing, am I going to go to prison? I was like, I don't need to ask. I'm just going to stop watching it.
Right? Exactly.
Instead of focusing on like what we don't want, I mean, even if it's a TV show, um, you know, um, what kind of things can we use manifestation for to get in our life?
Oh my
That's the
God. I mean, like literally everything. I was just some of the hypnosis sessions that I've been working on, like literally just before this, I was working on a hypnosis session to manifest a text message, to manifest a phone call, and to manifest money. You can manifest happiness, you can manifest health, you can manifest relationships, you can manifest new business, you can manifest just you know achieving your goals. I mean, I could go down the list of like in every single area of my life, every single thing that I have is as a result of getting my focus on what I do want, taking it off of what I don't want, and manifesting that. My relationship with my husband, of gosh, however many years now that we've been married. So, you get to this point really where it's like unbelievable. I mean, I guess we're not newlyweds anymore because we got married in 2008.
Yeah.
So, my house, I mean, we're a little over 2 years into manifesting my dream house and manifesting clients for your business. I mean, there's just so many different things that you can focus on. So many people, like, though, instead of like manifesting clients for their business, what are they focused on? They're focused on, oh, the clients are always showing up late, or no, people don't have any money, so I'm not even going to ask for the business, or I'm going to reduce my rates because, people don't have any money, or business is slow, or I don't have enough training, or I don't know what I'm doing, or where do I, so they're focusing on the lack of what they could be manifesting instead of, focusing on, what they want. So the sky's the limit. Whatever it is, if you can dream it, you can manifest it.
Yeah. I'm reminded of the Robert Schuller quote, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? Boy, that's a
Yeah.
great place to start, right?
Yeah.
So
And that's, like, and the list of the things you could possibly manifest is endless. And that's one of the things that I have chosen to focus on with my new Believe app. Is my new Believe app, is all about, I mean, it still has all of my core programs from HypnoCloud, but my main focus is on manifesting and law of attraction. And business success. And so, it's like, it really is my dream app now, because it's all the things that we talk about on this show. So you guys should definitely download that app if it's out right now. Which I manifested that app,
You manifested that. So what do the listeners need to do, and the watchers, what do they need to do to start manifesting their dreams just like you did?
Well, so for one, you've got to get extremely clear and focused on exactly what it is that you want. And so many people, they're kind of like all over the place with what they want. They kind of flitter back and forth between, oh, I want a car, I want a house, I want a person in my dreams, I want a blah 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 blah, and I really believe you got to get really crystal clear on the one thing and focus on the one thing. When you put all of your focus on one thing, that increases your manifestation power. Then you need to believe it and feel that you already have it. So by using hypnotherapy, you visualize, you go into hypnosis, you get programmed with the positive suggestions that say that, you can have this. And then you do have to take some inspired action as opposed to forced action. So I always say, you don't need to do things that you really don't love doing. You don't need to do those things. What you do need to do is do the things that you love doing. And as a result of doing the inspired actions, you're going to be in a more receiving place, and then be open to receiving, have the faith, have the trust, have the consistency. Oh, here we go. Do we have anything else on this board yet?
You knew it was coming, didn't you? Go ahead.
I saw you reaching for it. I knew that's what you were doing.
Still just that, Victoria, just that.
Do we have any ideas on, like, maybe for the new year, do we have any
Okay, go. Please finish your thought, though. Finish your thought. I'm sorry that I previewed it. Go ahead.
But you have to be open to receiving it, and you've got to take the inspired action. You have to believe, and put yourself in that feeling state. I love how Neville Goddard talks about just, putting yourself into the feeling as though you already have it. I mean, that really is such a key, and it really incorporates everything, because if you put yourself into the feeling of the wish fulfilled, it's saying that you're focusing on it, you're believing it, you're feeling it, you're thinking about it, you have a desire for it. So most everything, you're open to receiving it. So most everything's kind of like incorporated into that, feeling as if it's already fulfilled.
Yeah. I find that very, just the idea of acting as if,
Yeah.
which we use in NLP all the time. Great technique with clients. If you're out there and you want to listen, give it a listen. Go look it up, and basically just act like you're whatever you want. So,
Yeah.
really helpful. But I'll tell you, so a couple of things I do. Actually, I printed out some photos that I'm going to put on there. I'll just share a couple of them. I got
Ooh,
meditation.
love that.
Look, of course, I got this there, some cash, right?
Ooh,
Some
love
cash.
that.
Wealth creation. My
Yep.
favorite. Here we go. This is my favorite right there. So
That's great. That is great. You guys gonna have to go to YouTube if you want to see the
yeah, YouTube to see my
chest picture.
Right. Paste your face on someone else's picture. Funny stories. I actually had done that with a suit that I wanted, and I think I might have told this on the show before. 2 weeks later, a package shows up. It was a suit. My wife had seen the picture and was like, "I'm going to buy him that suit," and it was amazing. Now, it wasn't the exact suit I wanted. I wanted a $1,000 suit. This one wasn't quite $1,000, but
nature, this whole manifesting thing really does sometimes work in very mysterious ways. Because a couple months ago, I was doing Jack Canfield, and we did a vision board during that process. And on the vision board, I just made it like every category, and so I put some really great pictures of, like being in a bathing suit and, having the thighs and the abs and all that, that I want. And at that time, I didn't realize how this last 6 months or so, I've gained a lot of weight. And I didn't even realize it at the time. And then at the time that I was doing that, I didn't realize, and so it's kind of interesting how you'll go really far in one direction, and it's kind of like a rubber band. Like for me, when it comes to my weight, it's very much like a rubber band. I have a breaking point where it's like, oh my God, I cannot believe what I'm seeing here. And so I snapped back. And since then, I've gotten myself extremely disciplined in a whole new, I'm no longer doing the no carb thing. I'm actually counting calories, going to the gym, drinking all my water. And, in this last couple of months, I've lost 10 pounds. So
nice.
I'm on my way to that goal. And it was really, when I put those pictures on there, I wasn't even really thinking like I was that I was going in that direction, or B, that I was in the opposite of that direction. And, so it's just kind of interesting because those are the images that I see. I like literally, my vision board is kind of like sitting behind my printer. So the only ones I actually see are these ones in the, far corner that have these these body shots. So now I feel like I need to pull the whole thing out so I can get the whole manifestation going.
Right. Yeah. Good deal. So,
yeah.
So we talked about the steps. Are there any limitations to manifestation? I think we kind of gleaned that, but
yeah, so the first thing to really understand, one of the things, it is limited in the fact that it doesn't happen like overnight. Sometimes it can, but most of the time, your manifestations take time. It's not a quick fix. It requires patience. It requires you to have consistent effort. So, and I don't really know of anything else that doesn't require that, but it's limited in the fact that what people think is that you can just manifest something and it's just going to happen at the snap of the finger. And that's really not true. And then you might require some kind of help. You might need to get help to, to help shine a light on your blind spots, on where somebody that's been doing this for 25 years, or, even my whole life, but somebody who's actually been helping walk people through the process of it, you might need help to really understand how it works and what kind of shifts you might need to make.
Yeah. Interesting. The quick fix thing is something that I can completely relate with. I mean, it was about 2 or 3 years ago, I was kind of going through and optimizing all of my social media channels. And I put for my profile statement or something, I put, my goal is to have something about my goal is to have a positive impact on, I went ahead and I said 1 billion people. And so
Mm-hmm.
I set this huge thing. And then about, I want to say about a year and a half ago. And so, I mean, I'm always making an impact, right? I put blogs out, videos, whatever. I was sitting there talking to my friend Sean, and I was like, Sean, I just can't figure out how to get to that next level, to that next. I feel like I'm at this one place. And, simply by asking that question, I think things started rolling for me. And that would help me to have an impact. So for one of those is like being invited to be your co-host on this show. That was one of the things that happened.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, like the conference that I'm doing, I mean, I'm invited to do this, and then I have an idea to do another conference. And there's all these things that as you start asking these kinds of questions, I think that the universe is going to start providing answers for you.
I love that. Yeah. Asking questions, asking the right questions ultimately, it's a big key to manifesting, because, you're bound to get the answers that you need, whether it be from somebody else or from the universe, from your subconscious mind. When you ask questions, it creates the need, for the answer to come, and it will come.
Yeah, really incredible stuff. So, what are the keys to having success with manifesting things? How do we open that lock?
Say that again.
How do we open that lock?
Yeah. So I would say one of the biggest keys is really, and I was going to say having a positive attitude, but I also want to mix that with having a positive attitude consistently and patiently, because some, people will start off, it's like, duh, I need to keep a, positive attitude, but you need to keep it for a long enough period of time. So I do believe, patience is a huge key to it, because people will, like, maybe, they'll go at it for 30 days or 7 days or 60 days or 90 days,
Yeah,
and nothing happens yet in that time. Well, manifesting is not synonymous with things always lining up on your time. Things happen when they're supposed to happen. You just get in alignment with it. And, maybe something that was going to take years to happen will happen in a much faster way. Maybe it'll show up for you in 6 months versus 3 years. So you've got to consistently, um, have that faith, and, using visualization constantly, like just continuing to put your focus back on what it is that you want. Using affirmations even, is a wonderful, key to helping you, because that's going to help you with your positive mindset. Whatever you tell yourself, whatever you're focused on, that's going to be your predominant feeling and your predominant mindset. Practicing gratitude, being grateful for the things that you already have, but also for the little signs that are happening all the time that are taking you closer, to your dreams. Like, this is something I have to constantly remind myself with my app. I've got to focus on, having the gratitude for the things that, I mean, there's so many things done already with this app.
yeah,
But if I focus on the things that are not right, that's like 10%. But if I'm focusing on that part of things, that's what I'm generating more of. So
right.
you got to be grateful for everything that is already, so it's like, I manifested an app in the app store yet? No. But if I focus on how close I am rather than how far away I am, then that's just going to put me in a whole different space. And that space, that's going to translate into what kind of conversation am I having with my developer? How am I programming his mindset? And so it's all important, all of, the positive mindset, the gratitude, the visualization, being consistent with those things.
Well, and it's interesting to see your shift from that too, because I know when we would talk before and it was like, we're both kind of commiserating. And then, this shift is, I mean, it's noticeable. It's noticeable, the shift that you've taken, and to really focus on the positive stuff.
Yeah. And, it's interesting because I like sort of, I mean, being that kind of putting myself out there, vulnerably sharing about that so that people can actually see that, like, wow, Victoria, everyone has challenges with manifesting. At some point, you're going to come up against something that feels like the worst thing. Is just going to feel like it's never going to happen, or, you can't do it, or you're just met with all these frustrations, and you got to take a look, just like I took a look at myself, and I took a look like, what am I focusing on? What am I choosing to focus on? And I'm just as vulnerable and susceptible to allowing myself to get gobbled up by negative thoughts. And so you've got to, like, be willing to look at yourself and see what your blind spots are and see what you're focused on. And you're right. As soon as I changed my mindset, but you got to be consistent with it. You can't just do it for one day, and I've done that. I've tried to be consistent for a day, and then, like, next week you get the build again. And it's like, well, it takes a little while for the positive energy to, like, build up and create, more, the more consistent you are, the more consistent your manifestations are going to be. It's just a mere reflection of you.
Yeah. It's a really good point, though. I mean, when you talk about, how long it takes, I mean, I know a lot of us, especially as Americans, we want it now. How long should we expect to wait? I mean, how long is it going to take to manifest those dreams?
So that's always the number one question that people ask, how long is this going to take? Like, can I place my order and will I get this thing in a half an hour?
Right.
And so I always have a, phrase where it takes as long as it takes for you to line up with all of the manifesting conditions, which, I talk about in Practical Law of Attraction. Because, there's really it's kind of like when people come to you for hypnosis. Sometimes, some people are ready for the change, and some people are a little further away from being ready for that change. Some people have more faith in their ability to change. Some people are, they can't, they're so filled with doubt. So it depends on what your starting point is and what your ending point is. If you're starting from a place where you're just about there, you just need a little shift.
Mm-hmm.
It can happen pretty quickly. It also is like, how consistent are you? How clear is your vision of this? Do you really know what you want? Have you even, really made that decision? Have you changed your focus? So it all depends on your how far away you are right now from your goal. What is your level of belief? How clear are you, and how consistent are you in taking action?
Now, one of the things I'd like to add to that is that things can start to, they may start off a little bit slow, but it's almost like this wheel. You get that wheel going, and then pretty soon, because Victoria, I tell you right now, like we'll talk and you'll say, well, I remember, like, last time I think you said, how are you doing all these things? And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm not doing any more. But then I get another opportunity, and I just coming. And I mean, people are like, hey, you want to work on this? And I get this other idea. And So it may take you a while to start getting that wheel moving, but
Yeah.
man, once you're on it, it's like a roller coaster, baby. It is just wow.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, you are turning it, you're becoming a big mover and shaker. I mean, with all the opportunities that you're working on. I mean, you've got your success seminar with Grant, you've got your app that's, I know, also in the works. You've got your Pacific Northwest, and I mean, I don't even know what else
Yeah,
you're working on,
I
but
know.
I know you got a lot of stuff.
It's incredible. It really
And
is.
and this podcast.
Right. And it's and I do spend a lot of time on it, but it's time to, I wake up every day and I'm excited. I can't wait to get started, you know?
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
it's
That's
a
awesome. I'm
great,
super happy
uh,
for you.
thank you. Thank you. But really, I can't do any more though. That's it.
Right?
Such a universe. Still some things are checked off. Um, and on the other thing too, I want to make a point of is because you're talking about being very specific. I think because you've mentioned in the past that you can kind of be specific on what you want, but not necessarily the one thing, like with the
Hmm.
partner. And that's how I had no idea that I would be, planning a podcast and a virtual summit and working on a podcast with one of the most well-known hypnotists in the world, really, when I made that statement. But it was more of an intention, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you have to let go of the very, very specifics. I mean, sometimes it may not be that particular person. But it's like, that's where you want to go a little bit general. Like, because sometimes, especially in the area of relationships, people will get fixated on having this one very particular person, that maybe that person's not available for a relationship, or they're not available for a relationship with you, and or maybe they're not available for a relationship at this time or with you at this time, whatever it is. If you get very, very dialed in on it, has to come from this particular source, at this particular time, that's when you really actually start going in the opposite direction, with your manifestation. Everything will happen in time and everything will happen, just not necessarily, exactly according to your visualization. But usually it will happen, it'll be even better than what it is that that you can imagine.
Fantastic. What else you got for us? What else can we do to manifest those dreams? We want it
Well,
all, Victoria. Give us all those tips, all the knowledge.
well, I believe one of the biggest things, kind of like I was saying there, is detaching.
Mm,
So that's, like just detaching from those extreme specifics and staying present in this moment. The more we can, stay present in this moment, the more we're going to be open and available and receptive, for those opportunities that are always all around us and always opening up to us. I mean, if you are focused so far down the road all the time, if you're always just thinking about what happened or what's going to happen, but then you're around a group of people and something starts to happen where, if you just shift your attention to this present conversation, something can open up out of that conversation for you that could take you in that direction toward your goal. Also, I think it's really important that we work on releasing any kind of negativity, any kind of old beliefs that we might be holding on to. Every day, you got to work on sharpening that mind, that mindset, to just be more like believe in the process, trust in the process, and to stay optimistic. No matter what, in the face of fear, in the face of frustration, in the face of disappointment, staying optimistic. And that's, it's easier said than done. I
yeah.
say these things like, stay positive. Well, it's not like the staying positive isn't always like, if you really pay attention and stay aware of yourself, you're going through this roller coaster all throughout your day of like sometimes you feel positive and sometimes you don't feel so positive. And so the more you can stay focused on your dream, um, the quicker and more effortless and the easier it is going to come. So you got to trust the process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So to summarize, it's time to go.
Yeah, yeah. So just, basically manifesting is the process of bringing your dreams and your desires into reality using the power of your thoughts, your feelings, your actions. The steps to manifesting your dreams include getting clear on what you want, believing and feeling that you already have it, taking inspired action, being open to receiving. And the keys to manifesting successfully include keeping a positive attitude, being consistent in your efforts, taking inspired action, and to increase your chances of manifesting your dreams, you can use the power of visualization, affirmations. And so I want to thank you guys so much for tuning into the Power of Your Mind podcast. Hope you found today's episode informative and inspiring. Please do share this podcast with your friends, with your family, and do subscribe and leave us a review, and then tune in next week for another inspiring episode. Until then, keep using the power of your mind to reach your goals and live your best life in abundance and joy.